Welcome to Tabletop Gaming Guild Show. The Tabletop Gaming Guild Show is all about the memories and experience that playing tabletop games with friends and family can create. On this episode, we're going to talk about games that we feel we should have played but never did. But before we do that, we're going to talk about what we've been playing. I'm going to go ahead and let Evan start us off with what he's been playing.
So what have I been playing? So I have 3 games I'm going to talk about here, and a couple of them I've talked about before, but over the last couple of weeks, I got a gameplay in Ransom Notes. So Ransom Notes, it's a very fun party style game. You get little words, you get a little magnetic board that you can stick the words on. You get a prompt that you're supposed to design Ransom Note style and try to make the funniest phrase to go along with that prompt. What I like about it is that it changes whoever is going to be the judge every time, and there's an override. So that judge who gets to play every round also can't always just pick themselves. So it's a nice little thing that they kind of put into it, and it's a fun game. And then the next one that I played was 13 Dead End Drive. So an old classic game. My wife actually mentioned to me that she had a copy of it before, and we didn't have it, so I managed to get a copy of it for her for Christmas. And so in the game, the rich old lady has passed away, and everyone is at the will reading, and you're trying to off as many people as you can to try and be the last person standing, or to be the person that you can finagle to be collecting the fortune at the end. And there, I think there's 5 different traps that are interactive into the game. Very 1990s feel for the game, but overall it's kind of fun. You know, you get to drop chandeliers on people or flip them into a fireplace. It's fun. And then the last one is Cordovan. I can never say that one right. Vinland.
Cartavania, Vinland.
Thank you.
It's the
Thank you.
Viking themed one. Yeah.
Yeah. I can never say the beginning part, but yeah, Vinland there. So it's a choose your own adventure style game, but it's played all on 3x3 cards that you put out onto the table, and you just follow along. And there's multiple different stories within that. So it's a nice 10 to 15 minutes to get through one part of the story. So it's nice, simple game that you can break up over multiple days to play. Or if you want to, you can just power through the entire thing in an hour and a half. So you get kind of options in there, but it's really cool. And each story branches off of each other. So choices that you make in the first part affect the second part, and likewise further on. So really, really cool. But that's what I got into the table so far. So we will send it to John to see what he has been playing recently. Hopefully it's not just video games.
Oh, it's mainly been video games. I'll take that admit. But as far as any games, I haven't really played too much. My normal game nights have been a bust as of late. So I've done instead a lot on Yukata. So played a game of At the Gates of Loyang.
How's that game?
Oh, it's great. I mean, I've played that originally. One of my buddies got it when I first moved to Pittsburgh. One of the guys I met and played board games with, he picked it up, used somewhere. It's great. It's kind of like just picking efficient actions, and you're kind of competing for drafting from an open play board. So you kind of have you have to play one card whenever it's, during the card selection phase. One card you pick up from the table and one from your hand, and then the rest of your cards go out into the community pool. So it's kind of a lot of jockeying for, whoever picks last goes first kind of thing. But, there might be a card out there that's more valuable, and you also don't know if somebody's holding on to 2 valuable cards. So you might want to try and pan out. It's kind of there's a lot of, gamesmanship that you're trying to do. Sometimes you might even just pull early just to make sure that nobody else can get a good card that they want to play pickup out of their hand, in time. But yeah, it's more of an economic game. So I mean, you kind of do a lot by yourself, and the interactions really only comes down with like some of the helpers allow you to do mean things to each other, like delivering and stealing their customers, or trading at their markets, or swapping market cards between you and somebody else. But I mean, a lot of that it's all open information, so you can plan around it. And yeah, I mean, it's I don't one I've enjoyed playing for a long time.
Yeah, it's one I keep looking at it, and it looks like a much older game than it is, and then I never end up biting the bullet and picking it up. But do you have the copy of it?
No, I don't have a copy. It's one I've always thought about trying to pick up a copy of. But like every time I've seen it, it's always been like ridiculously priced.
Yeah. They had our local game store had a copy of it, and it was inexpensive. But like I said, I kept picking it up, and I'm like, have I played a million games like you before? I don't know.
Well, no, I mean, I haven't played too many other games I would describe like it, because it's a lot of, like trying to figure out, okay, I need to go and plant this particular vegetables in these fields, but I also need to get returns back, and I only have this many more turns before, we're going to be out, and there's a few cards that I feel that people undervalue.
Okay.
There's one that I always take it, and nobody I've ever played with online or in person values the card as much as I do, and I often win the game. So I feel like I'm making the right decision on valuing that card.
I have to play and I'll see that card and be like, I'm not taking it just so I can beat you and say, but you probably beat me because you played before.
I've played it a few times. In fact, here, I can even take a look at my stats on Yukata here. I've played it a lot. Let's see here.
Yeah, I don't know. It just the problem is that's why I like the video reviews where we do them and other people do them, because like the fluffy description on the back tells me nothing.
Yeah.
It's just like I have no idea. I'm like, it seems like just a Euro, whatever,
Yeah, there's no worker placement at all. One thing I've never seen anybody, like, you can take loans, and like set you back points at the end of the game.
Okay.
Which I've never seen anybody win taking a loan.
You can do that in Le Havre. I don't know if you've ever played Le Havre. In fact, in Le Havre, you won't win unless you take loans that set you back. At least I think it's very unlikely. You really need to get that money to get the loan to give you that big boost in the beginning, so you can get your engines going and get better stuff and trade better stuff and get those ships out. Or you don't actually control the ships, but your goods out.
Yeah. Thing is, though, with this one here, you can do a lot of manipulation of the board, so you can do a lot with no money. Because one of the actions you can take is just getting 2 cards off the top of the deck, and then you can keep either one of them, or you keep both of them. You put one on top of the other. If you have no markets and no helpers, that action costs you $0.
Okay.
Otherwise, it costs you amount of money equal to the highest amount you have of either of those cards. Because like sometimes to like kind of make it cheaper, it's like, oh, I only have 1 vegetable left in this market. I'm going to trade off of it, ditch that market card, so I can buy a 2-pack for 1 money instead of 2.
That
might not be So I mean, there's a lot of things you can do like that. So it's a little bit slower paced game, and the board only goes to 20 points. And I always wondered if you could get above 20 points in that game. I finally found the answer to that. I got 21 points one time.
21 points.
That was like a life goal for me. I was like, maybe I'll just stop playing the game now. I've reached the goal.
Trash.
Yep. But yeah, I played it 23 times online and won 18 of them.
Oh, there you go. That's good. I'm that way with Eminent Domain. So we'll play a game of that. So I beat you, and then we'll play that game, and you can beat me. Then just like win-win.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. So any other games you get to play?
Down Under, played that one. It's like it's a tile placement game.
Okay.
Where you basically play on a grid that you set out as to a certain size beforehand, with up to 4 players.
Okay.
And thing is, though, you on each one of your tiles that you have a set number of straight pieces and a set number of curved pieces, and each of the curved pieces has a path of your color and then a path of that's neutral that anybody could use if they connect to it. So you're trying to make the longest path. And then if you play like in the basic form, and the more advanced, you're trying to make sets of animals. So you're trying to hit other people's animals that they have put out, because each of those different tile pieces has a different animal on them. Rabbits, on the other hand, take points away from you.
Well, no one likes rabbits. Rabbits are horrible things.
Unless you get the dingo. The dingo eats all the rabbits.
Oh yeah, they're like
so
monsters.
So that then frees up, get you all the negative points away. But yeah, that one's kind of like, it's a lot of kind of, okay, if I place here, where are they going to place? So it's kind of a lot of, it's like an area control tile placement game, but it's like where it's kind of, let's say more like, in a way, kind of like Go or something like that, where the board is expanding and changing based on everyone else's plays. And so it's kind of a lot of, you have to, try and guess or, position yourself so that way you can determine where the borders are, is one thing that, always came up for me when playing it. So it's kind of, okay, this grid is 7x9. This way here is 7, and this way here is 7. If I push this one out and make this one the 9, I wind up, cutting all these other people off from being able to extend their path. So it's kind of, you also have to be aware of that. So it's kind of, you have, and you also have 2 ends. So, you can extend your path in either direction. But yep.
That sounds pretty cool. Any other ones you guys been playing?
That's the only one I can think of that I played here recently.
Okay. Now, I did need to mention before I start mine that Evan scares me. First, he does ransom, so he ransoms people. Then he's just murdering people. But at least he ended with a good, healthy, friendly Viking. So, at least there was that.
Yeah, so if I invite you over, I mean, it's for no reason whatsoever.
Well, hopefully it's the ransom one, not the straight up murder.
Why is there a bathtub full of ice?
It's organ moving time. What? No.
Yeah, James, come on over. Bring your copy of Shiver Me Timbers. It's okay.
No. You can trust me, Jay.
So I got 2 games to the table that I want to talk about. The first one was a really good kids game that's extremely simple. So it's only good for like very young kids. I'd say it's probably going to be like 3 to 6 year range, with 6 sort of pushing it. But that is my first Carcassonne. So in Carcassonne, it's a tile laying game where you're trying to put down your meeples to get points for your roads, your castles, or doing farming. In my first Carcassonne, it's the opposite. You only place your meeples when you complete a road that has pictures of your color, your player color on it. So when you put these tiles together and you complete a road, you're going to take a look at it, and every single color is, you're going to place those meeples on it. And the kids are just trying to get all their meeples out on the board. Once they do that, they win. The only real strategy to the game is trying not to complete roads that let your opponent put a lot of meeples on the board, and try to complete yours that put a lot of yours on the board. There is no real hard part on tile placement. All 4 edges have a road connecting. They have different art in the middle, so some of them have ends, some of them don't. So the kids don't have to like try to think too hard of how to position the tile on the board to make sure everything matches up. It will always match up. The only thing that they need to think about is, how do I get my meeples on the board with limiting other players? So it's nice because it's very simple, very, very simple, but it lets them try to work out a strategy. So if you want a game where you can say, I would love my child to learn some strategy and not have to worry too much about like what I'm doing in the game, more I can spend my child can spend its effort trying to figure out instead of, I know I can place this somewhere, what's the best place, sort of thing. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but basically it's nice because it teaches kids strategy without being a heavy or game. It's just very light. So I like that game. I would recommend that. I think if Evan thought that he wanted his kid to get more into strategy, but I don't know where he's at with that. Maybe he's already ready at go level. I don't know, but I think it's good for that.
Maybe chess level.
Chess level, not quite go yet. Chess.
Yeah,
chess is true. Yes.
We're still working on tic-tac-toe.
I'd say my first Carcassonne would be a great game because tic-tac-toe is actually more complicated to be able to do things in it than this game. The kid will actually see the mistakes, like when other meeples get put on the board and you're like, oh, what's happening? And you're like, okay, well, if you put it here, yours go down instead, and then you can just ease them into strategy. So it's cool. Now talking about something on the polar opposite, I don't know how to point behind me, but that mind management. I played mind management. That is the greatest hidden movement game I've ever played. It is amazing. It's a 1 to 5 player game. If you play one player, you play as the rogue agents or rebels, and the AI plays as the recruiter. But if you play multiplayer, one player plays the recruiter and everyone else plays the rogue agents. The recruiter's job is to recruit enough people, recruit all their little tokens, and they win the game. The other way the recruiter can win the game is buy their time and have the rogue agents run out of time. So if they delay the rogue agents too long or too much, they win the game. Rogue agents only have one thing they have to do. They have to capture that recruiter. Really awesome component quality. There's a super awesome screen that the recruiter hides behind with his dry erase board that is identical to the board that's on there. The recruiter has hidden features. There's a big feature deck, and every square on the board has 2 features. And the recruiter's trying to move through those spots with those hidden features to recruit the people. And meanwhile, the rogue agents are trying to figure out what features are you going for, what things you can do, and there's all sorts of things in play. There's immortals that the good recruiter has. All good people have immortal people working for them, but they have to be careful with them because the rogue agents can shake down the immortal and try to figure out what those hidden features are and have them eliminated from the recruiter. And the recruiter only moves after the first turn. The recruiter only moves 1 space, and they can only move orthogonically. There's 2 mind slip tokens that let them cheat a little bit, but they can only cheat of 1-2 ways. Whichever roll they picked, they can either jump 2 spaces orthogonically or jump 2 spaces diagonally. And part of the thing is when you use those mind slips, those people are trying to figure out which way they went. So it's effectively really not great if they figure out which one you have when you try to do the second one. And you can never double back, and you can never go to a space that you've been on the board ever. And the board is fairly large, but it's not that large. So you can run out of room pretty quick. It gets very tight towards the end of the game for the recruiter. Just amazing game. There's tons of different mechanics in this game that I haven't been going over that are really, really good for the hidden movement. You have to put out step tokens at different points where you're putting a step token, you're putting on somewhere you've been that matches like a feature or for other reasons. And if they go to where that step token is, and they can actually make you reveal when you were at that location, which is really bad. So I don't know. I think it's a really, really great game. I would love to play it with you guys. I think you would love it. It's better than Letters to Whitechapel, which I really, really like. I've played tons of hidden roll movement games, and this game is just so much better. Because not only that, the just gameplay is awesome just with the base game, but it has this cool shift system that if you want to play multiple games with a group, you would keep the same recruiter and they would keep the same rogue agents. If you lose as a team, you get to unlock this cool thing full of really cool cards and stuff that gives you benefits on your team, and cool. It unlocks this like storyline, and you have like secret envelopes you can open up that are really cool. There is art on every square inch of this game. There's art on the back of the board. That it's not another board. There's just art. There's art everywhere. There's not even a centimeter in the inside of the game that doesn't have art on it. It's insane. Awesome game. And that's Mind Management. I don't know if you guys like hidden role movement games.
I do. I like there's multiple, I like Dark Moon,
Okay.
Yeah, but that's a little more less, I guess, hidden role. It's hidden role betrayer. But
yeah. It's not.
But
yeah. Or Fury of Dracula is a hidden movement game. That's pretty good.
Yep. Yeah. That's what I was trying to think. Or Scotland Yard.
Scotland Yard is actually the predecessor to Letters to Whitechapel, or basically what it's based off of. I believe Evan played Letters to Whitechapel with the rest of them. Nathan, so what do you think of hidden movement games?
So I like hidden movement games. I can see why people dislike them too, because the game is either going to be very tense and very tight, or it's going to be a runaway, which I could see can be the detractor to some people. But overall, I every time I've ever played a hidden movement game, I've always enjoyed it.
Now, I haven't played Mind Management like a ton. I've played it a good bit, but I don't think you can have a runaway in Mind Management. It takes a while for the rogue agents to get going and to figure things out. You're not gonna just catch you. So you've moved 5 spaces already in the game, and you have that mind slip, which throws them off too. So even if they, for some unknown reason, within the first like 4 or 5 turns, found exactly where you were, you could still jump away because they still have to take an entire action to capture you. So I don't know. I think I don't know that it suffers from that, but we'll see. Maybe Evan will break it and be like, "I'm Sherlock Holmes."
Yeah.
No.
You know what? Like a hidden movement game was one of my favorite like experiences, like playing Scotland Yard.
Yeah, Scotland
Yard. I managed to win as Mr. X.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so it literally was, you have to find Mr. X. It wasn't like,
yep.
Yeah.
Oh, and the hilarious, like, I stunted on them style. Because you get your movement revealed X, like turns. Mm-hmm. All 3 times that my position was revealed, I was in the same exact space.
Yeah, that happened to Nathan. It didn't work out for Nathan though. He was literally like sort of like following us, doubling back, and it just did not work out for him. But he was trying to do that. I guess it was here. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, no, I was going back and had to come back. I was going the other way and then had to come back. But it's just like finally on the 3rd time when I got there, because it was on the river.
Yeah.
So I had like the black, secret routes to go on.
Yeah.
And it finally lined up where there wasn't anybody who was going to immediately capture me if I went on those paths. And so I did a double black ticket movement. I didn't go on those. And then they were hunting along the river trying to find me. Meanwhile, I'm running up towards the zoo.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. That's pretty sweet. Yeah, I love those games. Like I said, I need to have you guys play that game because I think you'll love it too.
Yeah, it sounds like something I would enjoy.
Yeah, it's definitely like, and the theme is amazing too. So, or at least fun. All right, so we're gonna go over games that we think we should have played, but haven't. I'll just jump off to give like my example of one just to start. And this is a game that I won, and I was super excited to win. I'm still super excited that I won it because it is an amazing looking game, and it's an amazing looking idea, and people have loved it, and I have yet to play it. It's a 4X game. It is a cooperative 4X game. Not semi-cooperative, 100% cooperative 4X game. And it works. And that is Uprising, the arch nemesis game. So basically, Uprising, that was the expansion. Uprising, the Curse of the Last Empire. So this game is a giant big box game. It doesn't have miniatures in it, but what it has is screen printed acrylic standees. And I was like, I don't like standees. I like these standees. These are amazing. The art that's on these is awesome. It just looks so dang good with these. I wish any company that ever thinks about doing standees would do acrylic standees, screen printed acrylic standees instead, because they look awesome. And this isn't like thin acrylic either. This is like 1/4 inch thick acrylic standees. It's insane. It's probably not that thick, but they're really, really nice. And there's hundreds of them in there. And basically what the game is you have this sort of mechanical multi-faction enemy coming towards you and taking over the land, wiping stuff out. And you as a group have to take your factions and take this back. So it looks really good. All the comments show that people love this game. There's like 1 billion scenarios to the game. So you can play it for a really, really long time. They just had a super successful additional Kickstarter for it where you could buy the base game again. And they had another expansion for it, which is as large as the base game. So it's a really well-loved game that's only purchasable through Kickstarter because they just can't simply produce it otherwise. So I really want to get this game to the table. I have no idea why I haven't. It's sat on my thing for like 4 years. I think you guys will like it. I know Evan will like it.
I mean, I'll play it. I mean,
yeah.
I play Twilight Imperium. So playing a big 4X game is not out of my wheelhouse.
And this game doesn't take nearly as long as Twilight Imperium. I think it's 2 to 3 hours. But, unfortunately, each time I think about doing it, Twilight Imperium wins. Because Twilight Imperium. But, all right, so that was mine. We'll go reverse order. John, what is a game that has just been sitting there and you should be playing it, but you haven't?
Well, I do have one on my shelf that I have not played yet. And that is Diplomacy.
I mean, good game.
I mean, I don't know if it's good or not. I haven't played it.
It's a fine game. I
just know that in friendships. Yeah.
So do you know basically the gist of Diplomacy? You're gonna have to coordinate
backstab
movement,
and coordinated movement, and then you basically kind of say you're doing one thing, you might do something else, and it's a lot of it's something that when I was younger and I bought it, I was like, yeah, let's do this. And then I never could get a chance to play it. I don't even know how long I've had this copy of Diplomacy, in all honesty. Like, it's probably at least 10 years, maybe more.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I feel like I should just play it at this point, but also
so I
it sounds
can
so
tell
exhausting.
I can tell you, John, I was there when you bought it.
Yeah.
So it was more than 10 years ago.
I was thinking it was.
And I could tell you the reason and rationale behind of why you bought it, because for whatever reason it is ingrained in my memory, is because we were all standing in, I can't remember what store, but it was after we were playing some games. You were all frustrated on the fact that your dice rolling was terrible. And we went and said, you know what? This game has 0 dice rolling.
It does not. Yeah, no dice rolling whatsoever. Just stabbery.
Yep.
It's like the worst type of stabbery too, because you're like, hey, John, we're allies. Yeah. We're in this together.
Hey,
we're gonna go until we agree. We're gonna be space buddies until we agree that we will go our separate ways. And then inevitably, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, John.
I'm sorry. I forgot which space I was supposed to go to.
I forgot. It was accident. I just wrote the wrong thing down. I don't know what happened.
That's why it's like nowadays I'm like, like that amount of just like negotiation and everything else, and it's just like it's all duplicitous. It's like,
it's
like,
it's
yeah, that
100%
sounds
negotiation.
exhausting.
And I
It
haven't.
just sounds so terrible now.
It's very exhausting, especially towards like when you get like, it gets bad. And the thing is like I have not played a game where someone doesn't get really angry.
Yeah.
Just totally bent out of shape. It's like,
Well, haven't we decreed that when the channel's breaking up, this is the game that we
this
will
is
play?
Yeah, we'll just put the nail
Play
in
the
the coffin right there.
Yeah, well, I'll keep the copy then. I won't try and sell it then, just so we have it for that.
Yeah.
That intense.
For the farewell day, we're like, we're gonna play a live thing of diplomacy, and only one will be alive at the end. In reality,
People will be taking bets on who swings at who first.
Yeah. All right, so that's a good one. What do you got, Evan?
So, looking at games that I should have played but have not, I'm gonna start with a classic game that I have not played, and that is going to be Agricola.
I
have
what?
I have never played Agricola.
What?
So
what have you never? What?
That's I mean, I've managed to at least play that once.
The greatest game, worker place game ever created by Uwe Rosenberg. I mean, and you haven't played it?
I think greatest ever is maybe a little bit oversold.
It could be only a little bit, maybe oversold, just a tad, just only a tad. Not.
I mean, if it was the greatest game ever, I would have played it.
Yeah, especially when Great Western Trail is right there.
Oh no,
right there.
Agricola's better than Great Western Trail.
Oh, we're gonna have fights.
Let's fight.
Bring out diplomacy.
Bring out diplomacy. It's diplomacy time. Oh, but Agricola, you have to play. It's such a good hate game. The game hates you. It's just great. It's such like you have to feed your people. You have to be able to get a balanced farm going. You have all this stuff you have to do, and it's hard. I've played, no joke, probably like my wife and I played this every day for probably a year. We got to the part where we could max out our scores, and then you bring in the cards. Oh my gosh. Then you have to dial back because it's actually harder with the cards to be able to balance everything.
So yeah, it's a good game that I have meant to play for a long time. Came out in 2007. It's ranked top 100 BGG. Yeah. Just I've never done it.
John's played it.
Yeah, I played it.
How does that make? I've played it. How does that make you feel?
Well,
let's talk about these feelings.
I'm going to answer that question with another question. Okay. With a different statement here. Mm-hmm. So Agricola is rated 44th on BGG. Great Western Trail is 15.
Well, that's because it's shiny and people like shiny things. I'm just saying.
But also it's just a better game.
Lies.
There's also that.
I think the thing that hurts Agricola is it is an unforgiving game. You have to know how to play the game or it will beat you up. It doesn't forgive mistakes. There's multiple different strategies you can do. There's a lot of different strategies you can do. But if you make a mistake, like there's like a baseball technical error, it's not forgiving. But I love it for that. I love the challenge. That game is the most challenging game of my trifecta of Uwe Rosenberg over here. It is more difficult than Caverna and Feast for Odin.
And I do know that you really do enjoy unforgiving games.
Yes.
So
especially if they're on the full strategy end. You're the master of your own destiny with that. There's no real luck.
So I will kick it back to you now, James.
Like after I got reamed for not playing Agricola, it's your turn.
I'm just waiting for our game at the end.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun.
Oh, is it Vengeance?
It'd be sweet vengeance. He'd be like, you remember Agricola? You remember that? So a game I missed out on playing it when I went to visit my brother in New Hampshire, and I was really sad with it because my daughters all got to play it and they really loved it, and it looked really cool. And I love terraforming Mars, and I sort of like that sort of little engine building thing with cards that are like stack this high of like you're probably never going to match them up sort of thing. And this game looked like a really cool version of that had some of the things that Terraforming Mars was a little off on fixed in it. It's not Terraforming Mars, but it's Ark Nova. So in Ark Nova, you're running a zoo and you're collecting all these cards, and the last thing you want to do is feed these animals for some reason. But, you know, I have it over here. My brother brought me a copy, or my brother or my father brought me a copy of it because I really, really want to play it. I unwrapped it. Oh, by the way, even if I've played a game, haven't played a game, I always take it out of the shrink wrap. It is probably a disorder.
I'll just ignore the two that I still have in shrink wrap over there.
Yeah. There's
just two. There's a lot over here.
Yeah, I don't have a single game in shrink wrap. I have a lot of games I haven't played yet, but I have 0 in shrink wrap. But yeah, our Ark Nova. I don't know. Have either of you guys played it? It looks amazing. Oh wait, didn't you guys do a playthrough?
We did a playthrough,
and I missed that too.
Yep, and I've played it like at least 4 times, and online, and then 1 time in person.
And what do you I know they're not the same game.
Yeah, you just had to have COVID at that time.
Yep.
Oh, was it then? Oh man. All right. So between like, I know they're not the same game, but Ark Nova and Terraforming Mars, which like if I put them side by side, which game would you be like, I'll play that?
I feel like it does Terraforming Mars a disservice saying that they're the same game.
Right, they're not really the same game.
I mean, there's a Tableau builder, but
I think the Tableau builder is where it ends. Basically, you're going to be building a tableau of cards that you've picked up in both.
Yeah,
and that's it. That's the end.
Yeah, there's a lot more comboing kind of things. I feel like that it's just a little more straightforward in Ark Nova, and as opposed to Terraforming.
They're about really long, both about 2 to 3 hours too, I think.
Yeah, but I feel like Terraforming sometimes can and does feel a little bit longer too.
Oh no, I played 5-hour games of Terraforming Mars that just go forever.
Yeah, because I mean, like there's just a lot of times you just have a lot of the combo stuff that you do in Terraforming requires you to actually take actions. And so you can have times where somebody's just playing solo. So sit down in front of both of them, I would probably lean towards Ark Nova a little bit.
Okay.
Simply for the fact of it's newer and I haven't played it as much.
No, it's fair.
I played Terraforming a lot more. But, it's like a 50.5, 49.5 split for me.
How about you, Evan?
So mine's a little more spread than that. I would actually go more on Ark Nova over Terraforming Mars, probably 70-30. Okay. I played a lot of Terraforming Mars, physical copies, digital adaptation, a lot of it. When you compare it to Ark Nova, I feel, and granted, they are not the same game. They play similarly, but they're not the same game. So to compare them, as a same game, is a disservice to both of them. So Ark Nova, I feel, stands better because what you do on your actual turn and subsequent turns is cleaner from beginning to end. When you play Terraforming Mars, you start off with turns that are this big. By the time you get to end game, your turns are ginormous because you have 37 combos that are playing off of each other. And I could go finish my turn, go make myself a sandwich and go to the bathroom and come back, and you're still not done with your turn because you're on your 19th combo off of this. And
I literally read a chapter of a book. I was waiting for someone to finish the turn. I'm like, oh my god.
And I understand the idea, with the engine building in it and, why it does that. But it turns a game that could be slimmed down and more streamlined into something way, way bigger than it, I feel, sometimes needs to be. Where in Arc Nova, you don't have these turns that are getting exponentially larger as you add more cards to it. You're going to have combos and do stuff with it, but it just feels simpler and cleaner overall.
And also earlier on, I'd say it feels like you have your turns don't feel as weak. Like the first couple of generations in terraforming, you feel pretty weak sauce. But you don't have that problem as much on Arc Nova. But I also feel like it's very easy to get yourself in a position where you just can't do anything in Arc Nova except for take a really feels bad action.
Yes, that's not good either.
But I mean, it's not. I've only seen that really kind of happen like once or twice, especially if you're new to it. Like once you learn it, it's harder for that to happen. But on your first playthrough, even maybe your second, I feel like it's not. It's fairly easy to get to where it's like, oh, I have no resources to do anything.
And I will to piggyback on that. Both games suffer the same problem of you need to play the game 1 to 2 times before you can really play the game.
I'm one of the people that don't mind that. I know a lot, like I play with the groups that I play with a lot of the time never want to do that. They want to get into the game. They want to have a chance to win the first game. A lot of the games I love, that's not possible. You can't win the first game. You just can't. And I'm fine with that.
I try to.
Well, you could try, but it's not happening on some of the games that I have. You just like there's just so like I can teach you the rules. You could watch a thing on the rules. It won't prepare you. You don't know the cards. You don't know what's happening. You don't know the flow of the game because you only learn that from playing it through because it's not explained in the rule book. There's no hints or anything. You just have to learn from seeing it happen or having something happen to you or whatnot. But yeah, I like that. I like that idea. I did get rid of Terraforming Mars. I gave it to my daughter who loves Terraforming Mars. And Terraforming Mars for me, and I know a couple people agree with me, but most people don't, got replaced by Terraforming Mars Ares. I have the same feel. I get the same cool build-up because you do have the same build-up in Terraforming Mars Ares. It's not the same game, but I have the theme that I like, and I have that build-up that I like, and it's faster by a lot.
Yeah. I will say also with Terraforming Ares, like I have a few friends that I go out to Origins with, and they did not really dig Terraforming Mars that much, but they loved the Ares because it felt a lot smoother and cleaner for them for a lot of the same things that we were kind of pointing out with Arc Nova. You have a lot of that Tableau engine building, but it's got a little bit of kind of I'm trying to like Race for the Galaxy, kind of mechanics to it. I think really
it's that same engine,
yeah. And I feel like it serves well with the kind of the Tableau builder that you're doing with terraforming. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely for like different groups of friends. That I mean, Ares is a great addition. I have both of them.
The additional benefit is no matter what, every round you're at least going to do something meaningful because you picked it. You picked the action. So
unless somebody else picked it too, and then you just feel like you wasted it. It's like,
well, I don't know. I think people just you have to be like, I needed to do this. I picked the action that I think is going to be work. You can do some metagame if you've played it a couple times with other people. And we're like, I know what John's going to be doing. I'm not picking that one. And then it's hilarious when you think the same thing.
Yeah, it's like, oh why? Like, you fool.
You fool.
Fly, you fools.
You're supposed to do it for me. But yeah, I love that game. And I don't miss Terraforming Mars. I know enough people with copies of it anyway, so if I get the hankering to play it, I'll just play one of their copies. And we'll have it game day.
Yeah, speaking of, here, I'm going to show this off here.
Okay.
Ba-doop-a-doop-a-doo. I'm not deep in a walk-in closet that's full of games instead of clothes.
I'm pretty sure that's the case. But yes. Why? That's what walk-in closets are for. They're game rooms.
Yeah. I mean, we could always play my copy of Terraforming.
Oh, did you get the Kickstarter one?
No, I didn't get the Kickstarter one because I have my copy that I got the long hunted for broken token insert for
Oh, okay.
that I did up. I punched it up.
Oh, that's cool.
Like painted all the logos on it. Yeah.
That's awesome. I will say that Terraforming Mars is unplayable unless you get a board like that.
Yeah. I mean, having like all the recess things, yeah. Like I can't go back to not playing with that.
When we played pretty often because my daughter loved it, so we played it like at least once or twice a week when she was around. But until we had those dual layer boards, we just used a pencil and paper.
Yeah.
That it was just significantly better. All right, so that was a long aside on amazing games. Let's go ahead to go back to John. What has John got going here?
Well, we want to go and talk about a game that I haven't played yet that probably should have. That one's a pretty easy one, and it's going to be one that you guys are probably going to be kind of you haven't played Agricola level about, and that is I haven't played Wingspan. I mean, I know people on here like sung its praises earlier.
So is Wingspan a game that you should actively like have to play? Nah. It's good. I don't know if Evan feels the same way. It's a really cool engine building game, but it's very variable on whether you can actually build an effective engine in the game. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, no. You have to. It's just a fun game. I just don't know if like when you play it, you might be like, "Oh, okay, this was fun." I don't know if it was like super crazy to do. All I see is a white. What is that? Oh my gosh! You haven't played Wingspan.
Wow!
Oh my gosh! The cool thing about Wingspan though is that it does play in a relatively quick pace. Hour and a half, you got a game done. If you have everyone know what they're doing, you probably could be a little under that. Component quality is amazing. It is an engine building game where most of the time you're just basically trying to meet the goal objective so you can get points real more than trying to build an engine because it's really hard. And even if you do build an engine, like let's say John builds an engine and Evan doesn't, Evan could still win. Your turn just feels cooler. You know, it's just that's all. I mean,
that's what's also most important is you feel cooler.
Yeah, you're like, oh well, I get to do this, and this one lays a egg on another bird, and this one here I get to eat something. Woo! Flip the card over, might eat it. Oh, and put this one here, and you're like, and John's like, I got 80 points, and Evan's like, I got 5,000. But you didn't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I should have played it because I mean, it's like I knew it was like a top rank, but yeah, it's like 26 on BGG.
Yeah, it's up there. It's a good game. Like I said, it's like it's just like I said. I think that the thing that gets me on it is just how like when you play it, especially when you put the expansions in, it gets worse and worse for this. You'll see like even just with a base game, you're like, I'm not building an engine. I really can't guarantee. It's too hard to get the cards that I need to do something effective. And it's sort of for me that's like it feels like it should be an engine building game. Because when you play it, you're going to be activating rows of birds, and each one goes in a line. You're like, well, this should be cool. But I do love the game.
Yeah, that's one I felt like I should have played by now. Because I mean, I know multiple other people. Isn't also the person I'm trying to think? Isn't it made by the same person who made like it was like a butterfly one too?
So it's made by Elizabeth Hargrave. She did Mariposa, which is the butterfly game. She also made a really cool game for button shy games called Tussie Mussy. which is just a sort of like a bouquet creation thing off the Renaissance period, I think, where when you set certain flowers together, they actually mean something. And that's an 18 card game. She's a really good designer. I like following what she does.
Yeah, I played Mariposa because one of my friends, she had bought it or whatever, or her sister, I should say. It was one of her favorite games, and we wound up playing it, over the summer.
Yeah, yeah, I like her as designer. I think Beth Sobel did the art for Wingspan. She's also a really good artist too. But all right, so
it'll be over to.
So the next one on my list. So we're going to talk about a top game on BGG that I should have played by now. Definitely should have. I mean, the game is right up my alley. So there's dungeon delving and adventure and all sorts of stuff, cool miniatures in the game. Haven't played it. I think the biggest thing and the biggest reason why I haven't played it is because setup time is a beast.
Mm-hmm.
And that is going to be Gloomhaven. So I have never played Gloomhaven, like I said, just because it's big. There's a lot of setup. And I just haven't done it. Now, there is a Steam port of it, and that takes care of a lot of those issues. But I'd rather play the physical because it has cool miniatures, and I like miniatures and stuff like that.
Plus, also opening the packages with the miniatures is really fun. Especially when you don't know what they are.
James is hurt and saddened.
The I love it. Gloomhaven is an amazing game. I actually think that it's near unplayable if you don't have an insert. It's one of the few games that I think you have to buy an insert for it, which is unfortunate but true. I mean, you're punching out hundreds and hundreds of cardboard standees.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a scenario where you have to then find said cardboard standees, and there's nothing that comes with the game to help you out whatsoever. There's not enough bags or anything. So if you didn't add anything to do any sort of management, you'd have a box full of cardboard pieces and an unusable game. Inserts 100% required, and the more expensive, well, not necessarily more expensive, and the more organized the insert, the better. Folded Spaces came out with a really, really good one that you can set them all in and they're all organized really nicely. So you just pull them out and you're ready to go. Helps out a lot with setup time, but setup time's still horrible on it. And the digital app for Steam is amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, it is pretty good. I can't believe that we're almost at the point where Frosthaven's about ready to come out.
Well, people already have Frosthaven and have been playing it. I just have no desire to get Frosthaven for probably a really long time.
Did Nathan get his copy yet? I know he backed it.
I don't know. I have to ask him. He hasn't finished Gloomhaven either. I mean, there's like 100 scenarios, all about an hour long, so it's 100 hours. Plus, if you get the Circles expansion, that adds like, I don't know, 20, 25 more, so 25 more hours. Yep. And then you have Jaws of the Lion that's compatible. You can move the characters in and out. It's like, so much that I haven't done. Why would I not want another 40-pound box to kill me when my Kalax falls over? So,
I don't know, because Frosthaven looks awesome.
I mean, I think, and it's a standalone thing. So, like, if you don't have Gloomhaven, get Frosthaven. A lot of stuff that people weren't too keen on Gloomhaven, which I can't imagine there's a lot. They said they addressed in Frosthaven. So if you don't have Gloomhaven, don't get it. Just get Frosthaven if that's what you want. I just don't think it's reasonable for me to get it when I have 70 more hours worth of Gloomhaven to go that I haven't finished.
Yeah.
It'll be like Descent all over again. I have every expansion for Descent. Everything. For the original and the second edition Journey into the Dark. I have everything. I don't have the new one, the one that works with the digital app. But yeah.
Well, hey, Evan, if you go and get a copy of Gloomhaven, I'll go up there and we can set up a weekly game day and we can play, or even just bi-weekly.
There you go.
We can play it.
It's wonderful for that.
Yeah.
Do you have it?
No.
Don't get Jaws of the Lion first. Jaws of the Lion is much more streamlined, super easy to set up. It has like a what do you call them, a binder thing you open up and play in. Go through that, and then once you guys finish that, then get Gloomhaven. You'll be all ready to go. You wouldn't even need to teach barely anything to get going with that one.
Well, if I get Gloomhaven, I'll make sure to give it to you so you can punch it and organize it for me, since you enjoy that.
I don't mind it.
And,
It took me
and also get the
forever.
broken token or some other insert, any insert.
You have to have an insert, yes.
So,
yeah.
And I think, like I said, the biggest thing that is a detractor for me is setup time. And I don't know.
You get a friend who sets it up before you even get there.
James.
And
I'll set it. If you're gonna play it, like if people are willing to commit, or at least commit to where, if they don't make it for one of them, they're like, okay, you guys can go ahead, because we just play without that character.
Yeah.
Then cool. I'm all in, because I would like to get further and do more stuff, because you can retire those people and get new people and do all sorts of really cool stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we played, I played for every other week for a little over a year. And just before, in the before times, just before everything locked down for a while there. And
in the times of freedom.
Yeah.
Then this.
Yep. But yeah, so I mean, we never got a chance to pick it back up. It was kind of like, it was also a continuation of our legacy game, because I mean, before that, we did play Seafall, and then
you mean Seafail?
Yeah, and we also played Risk Legacy.
That game's not so good either, but it's better than Seafall. Rob Davia, what did you do?
we had hilarious things that we did.
Yeah,
we may have nuked Alaska.
Yeah, you can't do that in Risk Legacy.
Yep.
Yeah,
and and they did it intentionally too. Like, two of us were in a standoff, and the third one was like, "Well, I'm just gonna launch my nuke too, just so we unlock the thing."
That's hilarious. It's not a bad one. It's just like, it's not amazing either. I don't know how to explain it.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's
I still have my.
It's playable. You still have your copy?
Yeah, I still have the copy, and I'd say it's more playable than regular Risk. Like, I feel like it fixes a lot of Risk's problems.
It's actually based on a Risk version that fixed a lot of Risk problems, and I forget which one it was.
2210.
Was it
2210?
2210,
yeah.
It that's what it's based on, and that did fix a lot of problems with Risk. And I think the Legacy one, when you get farther on, actually fixes more and more as it goes. But yeah, It doesn't ever get to the point where you're like, this is the greatest. It's like, you want to do it? Sure, let's play. Yeah.
Anyway, I think who's next?
It's me. So I'm gonna go with, this will be my last one, because these are my big games that I really, really have to play that I haven't. As you know, and everyone knows, the greatest designer on the face of the planet is Eric M. Lang. He is the best. It's undisputable rock star of board game design. No one's even close. It's how it is. So when I tell you that I haven't played one of his games, it's on down here, which has amazing miniatures and is an amazing epic game that I have never, ever, ever played. And that's The Others.
Not familiar with that one.
So in The Others, you're going to be basically taking out one of the sins. There's like 7 of them or whatever. different. I think there might be more with expansions. I don't know. I've actually not played this game, but there's going to be a big bad boss in there. This is pre Death May Die sort of area, but I think it might have helped with Death May Die. But it looks amazing. It looks really cool with all the different options you can do, and it is like a roll the dice, punch things in the face, and go nuts game, which I do appreciate, because that's a lot of fun when you're like, hey, we want to play something, light. I don't know if it's all that light, but you want to play something where we just like go at it. Great game for that. And it's really highly rated. I have the base game there. Never played it. All right, John.
I'm about to say I don't have anything.
Evan, you're so mean. So John doesn't have anything more. How about you?
I do have.
Oh, you do.
Have one.
Oh, you take some backsies. Okay, let's see.
It is. I was thinking about it. It's like I was just kind of going through the top 100 list. It's like I played almost all of these. There's like almost none of these I haven't played yet. And then we mentioned it earlier, and it's like, oh yeah, no, I haven't played that one yet. And that also might be one of the ones that's in shrink wrap on the bench beside me, and that is Gloomhaven: Jaws of the Lion.
You have it in shrink wrap?
Yeah, that's right.
Why do you have games in shrink wrap?
Because you see, there's a tradition
of
not taking things out of shrink wrap for me. Evan knows this because we used to do LAN parties where we would have like one of like the last things we would do is, hey, let's take a look at a game that John has on his shelf that he has not like taken out of the shrink wrap yet, and we'll play that game.
Okay.
I mean, that I think Evan was away when I mentioned that he was there for those LAN parties where we would play a game that I have in shrink wrap on the shelf because
yeah.
You
So
guys
so
are the worst. The worst.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it's like number 7. So I mean, at least I own it. I got it out for sale. But I just haven't had a chance to play it yet.
I don't know. This is so sad. I'm just gonna drive to your house, unshrink wrap it, just break in and be like, "Oh, I'm calling the police. He's just unshrink wrapping my games. What the hell's happening?"
John's gonna come home. John's gonna come home. There's just shrink everywhere.
Everything's unboxed and organized. No.
I think viticulture might also be. I just also picked that up too, and it's part of the same thing. Yeah.
In all seriousness, viticulture is one of the top worker placement games. At least I think. It's also
pretty
very
decent.
accessible.
Yeah, I played it without any expansions, so I definitely want to try it with the expansions because I got like the Essentials edition.
Yeah, the Tuscany expansion for the Essential edition is essential. It just takes a good game. It takes a great game and makes it amazing.
Yep.
Because Viticulture is a great game, but that Tuscany, oh my gosh, so good.
Yeah, my buddy Matt was telling me that was definitely like one of the better expansions that were in there. So
it's really just get that and don't care about the rest. Not that they're bad. It's just like most expansions are just meh. And I think that's the same. Viticulture World is interesting. It makes viticulture cooperative, and it has a lot of different modules for it. So it's fun. I just like if the thing is like if we're gonna play, I'm just gonna play viticulture.
Yeah.
With the Tuscany expansion.
Yep, that's mine. It's still in the shrink wrap, Jaws of the Lion.
Fucking
so yeah, hey, Evan, we can play that one. You just say it. It'll be
we can.
All right, Evan, what you got?
So the last one I'm going to mention, since you guys have finished up here, is
Merchants of the Dark Road. The one that I opened up with. It
is not in shrink wrap.
No, it's not.
It is nicely organized. Thank you, James.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited to play this game. It looks so good. So in the game, you're a merchant, and there are various goods you have to collect and sell to make money as a merchant. You also have there's a rondel action that allows you to do different things. You can do some market manipulation to increase and decrease price of goods. You also can go and go into dungeons, collect magical items to help you gain more gold. But also the other thing is you have to not only get gold, but you also have to manage your fame, because once the turns are done, whatever is the lower of your gold or your fame is your final score. So you have to do both, which I think was really cool. And the game, the art, the component quality is really good. I've gotten all the upgrades, so all the nice things are even better now. And it looks just like a really good, fun game to play. And I think I gave this to you, James, to unpack and make nice for me last spring. And
Yeah,
it's
it's probably a
still,
year.
yeah, I haven't touched.
I will
I
100% play that game with you. It looks amazing.
and Peter just says that he wanted to play it, and we just haven't.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be great. We should get all of us together and play this game.
Yeah, I was about to say maybe we should set up like a bi-monthly thing, or monthly.
Hey, I know a local place. Insert
Oh,
plug
yeah?
here. My parents' basement. My parents' basement in Butler, PA. You can go in there and pay $10 and game all day long. They have a giant library, but we can bring things in like merchants and play it. Yep, that's my shameless plug. All right. So that's games that we really, really feel that we should be playing that we haven't. Now Evan has a silly game for us to play.
So our silly game today is going to be an interesting one. So on the channel today, we have one of our founding members, the person that helped found Tabletop Gaming Guild, James. He's been here since the beginning. And we also have John, who is the newest person to the group.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to see, and we're going to compare how well does James know his BGG rankings and descriptions. And if he can't get them, let's see if John might with a little bit of help.
Okay. All right.
So,
all right, let me go and close my BGT that I was looking at.
Let me open mine. No, okay.
So how we're going to do this, and we're going to go and see. Now, I'm not going to just...
I've ranked a lot of games.
You have ranked 616 games on here, but not all of them have descriptions. We're only going to take the ones with descriptions.
Oh, that was in the early days. So that's even worse because I stopped putting descriptions on them.
So what I'm going to do is John will pick the number. So which ranking, which category we're going to pick from.
All right.
Okay. And then James, I'm going to give you the description of the game.
Okay.
And the date that you put that on there. And to see if you can name
That's going to help, but we're going to do it. We're going to do it.
If you can't name it,
all right,
I will kick it back to John. I will give him a little bit. I will give him a little bit more to see if he can name it.
All right.
All right. And then at the end, we're going to relentlessly mock you on your ratings of certain games.
Fair enough. All right.
So John, give me a rating here. Which one do you want to delve into first?
What kind of am I giving you a rating of like
1 to 10,
probably.
1 to 10. Okay.
Yeah, 1 to 10. Yeah, the BGG, what he rated them, and we'll go into those.
Can I as a decimal too? I don't know if that's a decimal.
Solid.
Nope.
No, you can't do decimals on that.
Let's go with 7.
Okay, let's take a look at the sevens.
At least I don't think you can.
So you have 130
either.
that you rated a 7.
Okay.
Well, let's find one here.
Because 7's a good game that I'll play.
Yeah, it's a good. Yeah, I figure it's a good game. I probably would have played it. Been like, oh yeah, that's solid. If you're a fan of that genre, you would really love it.
Okay, here we go. So, rated a 7. Okay. This game came out in 2011. Okay. you rated it 7.2 of 17. And your rating, you said, by far my favorite deck building game.
For my 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be one of two things. I'm going to say it's Dominion. Or, yeah, it's going to be Dominion. Does it matter which expansion for Dominion? Because there's 8 million. So I'm just going to say Dominion.
You are incorrect.
Oh, no!
All right, John. So I'm going to give you a little bit of the description that is on BGG. Okay. You have all the information there from James. Okay. Part of the description. Survey the galaxy to expand your civilization. You will colonize nearby planets or take them over by force. Harvest resources for trade and do research to improve your technology.
We were
Build
just
the
talking about
best
this.
civilization and win the game.
We were just talking about this.
James is kicking himself now.
Yeah. It's a good one.
Is that a deck builder?
It is.
Some will say it's a 7 out of 10.
I mean, you're right. I don't want to help you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Deck Builder came out in 2017.
17.
But you're right. So maybe
I mean, it's not
door deck building, but
I mean, it's not Twilight Imperium. So
it's not Twilight Imperium. The deck. I would play that.
I would play that
I guess
too,
it is a deck building game. It's definitely a deck building game.
You do have a deck in it,
and
you have cards.
Gain cards.
But
which
yes,
what game is it? Do I get the steal?
No.
Oh no.
What's your guess, John?
Yeah, I can't think of it. I mean, there's a couple of games I'm thinking
it would have got a higher ranking but it didn't because of iconography. If that helps. It's a common problem with that game.
Yeah,
people have a lot of problems with it.
I mean, I'll probably think I'm terrible with names. I remember things by like how it looks. So it's kind of like, oh yeah, it's that game.
So can I say it even though I don't get points for it, or are you just gonna say
you can?
I'm pretty sure it's Race for the Galaxy.
Oh,
still wrong.
Oh, the only one's Eminent Domain, but I were rated higher than 7.
That game is Eminent Domain.
I was thinking Eminent Domain was that's the one I was thinking of. I was like,
I gotta up my rating for that. Eminent Domain has the same mechanisms and does the same thing. You're doing the same dang thing as Race for the Galaxy. I just didn't think I rated Eminent Domain that low.
I didn't think it came out.
I made a mistake. I am going to be changing that. I think it's like an 8 at least, not a 7. Race for the Galaxy is a 7 or a 6 because the iconography is just atrocious in it.
Yeah.
So
was Eminent Domain really 2017?
Yeah, it's old.
Mm-hmm.
It has like 4 or 5 expansions to it at this point.
I don't think I've played Eminent Domain. Now I'm thinking about it. I think I've just maybe. No, I've had to play it. I've played Eminent Domain. There's no way I've not.
Eminent Domain's an amazing
game. I have
played it. Yeah, you would have remembered it because you have all those planets out and you're trying to colonize a planet, trying to get points different ways. You're doing trading and you gain a card, but everyone can follow, and that's basically how it works. Not quite the same as Race for the Galaxy, but more like a Puerto Rico style mechanic that Race for the Galaxy followed that this followed.
Yeah, and you can when you can colonize or combat win planets too, if I remember.
Yeah, you can take a planet over by force when you have to have enough starships for it, which the starships are the same ones that come with Eclipse. Not the new one that got on the Kickstarter, but the original one. They were the exact same thing, chips. So they came from the same manufacturer at one point. You can either do that, colonize them. You can do trade. You can gain victory points. You can end the game from victory points. And if you're fast with it. And then they had an expansion with asteroids that you can try to blow through those pretty quick. And it's really the technologies in that game that you have to focus on. Because that's where the points are.
Yeah, I played that once, and it was. Now I'm thinking about it, it was a few years ago. So yeah, and I kind of, it was like tickling in the back of my brain, but I was like, I do not remember the name of it enough at all to even make a guess.
Well, I'll tell you, it's a mistake that I have at a 7, so I have to go fix that later. But
I don't
continue
know.
on, Evan.
I think you might have been right the first time, from what I remember. 7 might be fair.
I think. Well, I think it's one of those games that the more you play it, the greater the game becomes.
And to be fair, you have on BGG 15 plays.
I think I have a lot more than that, but yeah, because we used to play it every day at lunch at work forever, and I probably didn't log any of them.
So round 1, 0 points for anybody.
The 0. So, we're both failures. Haha.
Yep.
Go on. Give me a ranking.
All right. You know what? Let's go with something a little bit better, maybe. Let's go with 9. See what he really loves.
9. And you could always double back and pick the same number again.
Yeah, I know, but I like to mix it up.
Let's see.
I like this game, even though it's going to be bad for me. That was a pretty good idea there, Evan. I'm also buttering you up so you can mime me what the name of the game is.
Yeah, because I definitely worked hard to play in this game.
There you go. How many did I do as a 9?
34.
Yeah, I don't have a 10's even lower, but yeah.
Okay, I got it, James.
All right, let's see.
So this game came out in 2014.
2014, okay, old. Yep.
All right.
You rated this game 9/24 of 16.
Okay, 2 years after it came out. Sure.
All right, so like 7 years ago. All right.
I like the game a lot, but found that most of the time the game grinds to a halt near the end.
That's so many games.
Yeah, I was about to say.
That's not even fair.
I was like, I don't know. Isn't that like half of them over there on my shelf?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, my guess would be Terraforming Mars, but because it does. But it's wrong because
you were incorrect.
There's just so many that are like that, so I have no idea. We're gonna get it from the description, though. I can tell you that.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
I should have been more descriptive in my judgments on the things.
All right, here we go. I got to figure out how to speak about this one without giving it away
title
with the name.
Yeah.
The title was kind of.
You could be like blank, blah 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 blank.
So I realized I need to go through and mark a lot more ratings, at least on the games that I own here.
Yeah. Normally when currently what I do is I don't write any review on there. I just do when I do my video review, then I update BGG when I look at it of what I feel my rating is of it. And sometimes if I play it again and I change my mind or whatever, it goes up or down, I try to update it.
Here we go. Crossing into the land of 1,001 nights, your caravan arrives at the fabled Sultani of Naquala. The old sultan just died, and control of Naquala is up for grabs. The oracles foretold of strangers who would maneuver something to gain influence over the legendary city-state. Will you fulfill the prophecy, invoke the old jinns, and move something into positions at the right time?
I know
the sultanate may become yours. The some things may have been the title, so I had to.
Yeah, it's right there.
Yep.
It's true. It does grind a massive grinding to a halt at the end. Massive. It's just an AP ramp game. But I love playing it with my wife. We played it a lot. And I'm trying to
think of what that would even be. I mean, there's a lot of like games that have that theme, but it's just like it's not the one with the library. And I don't think like there was like the one with the gems. Like, yeah, I remember way more like the components, mechanics.
I say remember the keyword Jin, because Jins are in it.
Yeah.
It's a Days of Wonder game. I don't know if that'll help you.
Game.
Oh,
You
Days
can
of
pick up
Wonder,
the gins
yeah.
at different points of the game based on what you picked up. You can spend them to get them, depending on the spot that you land on. And it
I
uses the
might not have
McCullough
played
mechanism.
this.
Assassins, elders, builders,
Yeah.
merchants, viziers.
Those are all different colored merchants, or different colored meeples that you're going to pick off the board.
Mhm.
And what you do is it's a McCullough mechanism, and you're going to be placing these down, and your last one is the one that matters. And you look at what was already there, so you have to, you're trying to match them up and do the thing. And if you take the last meeple from there, you get to, claim the tile with a camel. And there's palm
Yep.
trees you can place down. It's 5 tribes.
Yeah, I don't think I've actually played.
It's a
Five
great
Tribes.
abstract game. It is an amazing game. It is a pure strategy game. The problem is you're taking these
Have I?
meeples off the board,
Mm-hmm.
and you only have a couple left, and your turns 100% matter. So as the game goes by and you have less and less options, what you do on your turn, which is multiple different ways that you can make things happen, matters. So the game grinds to a halt towards the end because you have to think really hard to make sure you're not giving something to your opponent. You're taking the best turn you possibly can, and there's 0 luck.
Oh, you know what? I have played Five Tribes.
There's a little luck in the gins that pop out if you pick them up. And some of the expansions added some more things that you can pick through. Like the Thieves expansion was pretty cool because you can pick up thieves and stuff. It's just an amazing game.
Actually, you know what? I don't think I haven't played this because there's something I feel like is similar to this. I remember
I don't know if it would be similar. Unless you're just talking theme wise.
And it's not even just theme.
There's a lot of theme. A lot of theme games.
I feel like you have to work. The one I'm thinking of is like card based, not the tiles like this one is.
You're probably thinking about
where you
the other game.
Place. You have to place in relation to where your previous meeples you were placed.
I thought you were talking about Istanbul, but that wasn't it.
Oh,
Istanbul is a card-based one. You have tiles out, but you can pick up cards and you do different things with cards, and you have to place. You can move out so many distance based on how many assistants you have and stuff.
So, round 2,
Yep.
nothing.
Round
2, yeah,
nothing. 2, nothing.
Which I figure we're going to do 4 rounds.
All right,
and if it's still tied up, I have a good tiebreaker. So.
All right, here we go. If it's a 1, John, I'll probably get it. We'll see. I don't think I have a lot.
Yeah, Istanbul was the game I was thinking of.
Istanbul, that is an amazing game. I love Istanbul. Yeah. All right, anyway, sorry. John.
Anyway, yes.
Give me a number, John.
All right. You know what? Let's go on the lower end. I want to see what he thought, was barely had redeeming quality. So let's go with 4.
I was reading this one earlier.
How many 4s do I have, by the way?
31.
Yeah, I think 4s are not that. I think my number 1s are 8s and 7s, but whatever.
Oh, right. So this game came out in 2017. You reviewed it 3/19 of 18.
Okay.
In the great concept of a legacy worker placement game. However, rules do not seem to be very clear. It seems to allow for accidental play errors that hurt the game. Also, as errors go, this is overly simplistic and does not really add much to the complexity. There are several unlocks which add fiddly rules and add nothing to the gameplay. I particularly did not enjoy the experience because it was evident early on I would probably win, and the only thing that happened in later plays was rules that helped me widen the gap. It was not fun for me or the other players.
So I know this one, and I am hesitant to actually say the name of the game because I love the company, and I love Jamie Stegmaier, and I love Stonemaier Games, but I do not like Charterstone. And that is
Charterstone.
That Charterstone is a Euro legacy game. I don't know if you've ever played it.
I haven't played it, but I know some people who were playing it.
And it's overly simplistic. I had a combo early on with the things I got to put out, and I just spammed it the entire time. I did 0 things to help progress things. I was just like going back and forth and just getting points, unlocking things. Every time you win more in the game, so you get to place dots on your box that you hold everything in, and you can unlock things that you get bonuses for the next game. It's cool. If you're not a jerk, I was, you could probably really enjoy it because there's a lot of discovery in the game. You're unlocking little cities, you're putting them out, you're finding all this cool stuff, and there's a simple little story that's going along along too. So in my second playthrough that I did like 1 or 2 years ago, I enjoyed it a lot more because I didn't, I just played to play it. But yeah, that was Charterstone.
So a point to James.
I'm on the board.
On the board at least.
So John, give me a 1. Give me a rating. See if we can get you a point here.
Let's go with all right, so it seemed like going with the bad ones gives him way more of a chance here. So
if you go with a 1, I'm probably going to get it.
Yeah. So I got to metagame this one where there's just so many things that, so let's go with the 7 again.
Yeah, that's like 7s and 8s and 6s are probably going to be my bulk of everything.
Yeah, because because most games, like if you're playing them, you probably enjoy it, so you're probably going to get at least a 6.
Yeah, I think the majority of the games I really like. I don't know how much I play all those, but I generally enjoy every game I play for the most part.
Yeah,
unless it's tapeworm.
Like for me, it's kind of like I view like 6 and 7 as kind of like I like the game. I can understand why it might not be for some people or like for certain groups. 8, so I would be like, these are a game that I would always play and I would always want other people to, I would recommend.
I would go after 8s. I want to play. Like if we're here, and I'm like, what do you want to play? I'd be like, wow, let's play Lords of Hellas. Let's just do it. Oh, that should have been a game that I wanted to play that I haven't yet. That's just sitting there. I haven't played it.
Okay, I got one here.
All right.
So this game came out in 2011.
Okay, older game.
You reviewed it 8/6 of 16.
Okay.
Okay.
Fun game, but has bad art.
Concordia. But that's true. Concordia is a great game. Worst art.
Concordia is not in your 7s.
It's probably 8.
You know what? My comedy guess here, before we're actually hearing anything, not actual guess. Time Pirates.
No. That one. But let's see what your actual guess is.
So, the little bit here. The game is set in a region of high medieval France. Each player takes on a role of an aristocrat, originally controlling a small princedom. While playing, they aim to build settlements and powerful castles, practice trade along the rivers, exploit silver mines, and use the knowledge of travelers. The game is about players taking settlement tiles from the game board and placing them in their princedom, which is represented by the player board. Every tile has a function that starts when the tile is placed in the princedom. Princedom itself consists of several regions, each which demand its own type of settlement tile. It is played in 5 phases, each consisting of 5 rounds.
Mm-hmm. It's a dice placement game. Dice placement.
It's considered a classic right now, too.
It's a great game. It had a reprint, and it came with the a couple of the boards that you can't get really easily, which I really wish I would have got the anniversary edition one of it.
The special edition just came out.
Yeah, it is an amazing game. I like it a lot. I played it a lot with my wife, too. So dice placement, horrible looking board.
Ravensburger game.
There is little tiny hex tiles that you place out on your boards that you pick up. You also have square goods that you can pick up and put on your board. You're trying to ship them out for points.
The box is a reddish color.
No, that's the second edition. So the original box is, the box is a reddish color for the anniversary edition, but the classic one that you probably saw a picture of,
I'm looking at the 2011 version.
That shouldn't be a red box. I should I could be wrong. I have it here. No, it is you are right. It is a burgundy colored box. You are right with a blue Ravensburg, that blue Ravensburg thingy on the side.
Yeah, the special edition is not that color.
Is it deep red or something, or is it?
No, it's just artwork.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yep, no idea. It's
Castles of Burgundy.
Really?
Yes, that. So the description, whatever.
Yeah,
but I remember the description's like weird, and I was like, "Wow, I never thought of that."
Yeah, that description completely threw me off. Wow.
Reading the description right off BGG.
Yeah, as soon as he read that, it got towards the end. I'm like, oh, that's the one where I read the thing for, and I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
It's
what the hell? Okay, yeah, I guess you do it in the particular regions. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, the regions thing is true. You have to put it in particular regions. You try to fill out the regions. The first one to fill out a region gets extra points and stuff like that.
I'm playing a game of that right now in Yukata. So like,
yeah, that's Castles of Burgundy. Good game.
All right. I prefer the card game.
I like the card game. But I ended up playing the board game a lot more often. So I ended up giving the card game to a friend. But the card game is super cheap too. It was like $14 full price or something weird.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's not a lot of components with it, so
no. But even so, people charge a lot more for that stuff, and now I thought it was crazy cheap. All right, sorry.
So the winner of tonight's game is James for knowing his list.
I didn't really. I got only one.
You only got one.
Here, do a one real quick. Let's see if I can get it.
Okay.
And we'll call it a night. I want to hear a one because it's going to be epic.
Well, here, before I go that, because I'm looking at it. So as I said, this would have been the tiebreaker.
Oh, okay.
You've done 616 board games. That's excluding expansions.
Okay.
And they range anywhere from 1 to 10. Who can come closest to your average rating? Because it gives it on BGG. And this is in decimal.
Oh, for a game? Or for my average ratings?
Your average rating for all your games. All of them. I found this very interesting.
6.5? That's my guess. Let's see what John's is.
Okay.
7.3.
You were almost on the nose, James. 6.48.
Yeah, I knew it had to be close to that because I have some low ones in there, but
yep.
I was less forgiving when I was younger.
So one here. Okay. Let me see. We've talked about this one before, and I find this is probably my favorite review that you have up on here.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. All right, let's hear this one.
Okay. Game came out in 1982.
1982, okay.
You reviewed it on my birthday, June 18th. But of 17, and I am not that young. Your review says, my rating is influenced by how bad I am at Scrabble. And this game amplifies that.
I hate this game. Hate. Words
with Friends?
No, this is way before Words with Friends. Try again. This is going to be, think old. Think what other games were around when in the 80s?
Balderdash or like
that's Scrabble based.
Yeah, that's like you rolled the dice and you had to make the word on.
Oh, that's not Balderdash. Balderdash is a game where
yeah, Balderdash is the lying one.
Yeah. You're thinking of
Boggles, what you're thinking of.
But that's not the game. This game, you stack words on top of each other or letters on top of each other.
Oh, is it Word Up or something like that?
Close.
I think Upward.
Upwards, yes. Yeah. Oh my God, that's a horrible game.
I think I've played that. I might have had a copy at one point, I think.
I still have a copy in my life.
So my favorite thing about that is you rated that a 1.
Yes.
At Scrabble, you rated a 2.
Yes, because Scrabble is better, but still never play it. Oh,
which your review of Scrabble is people like me that cannot spell, stay away.
Yep. That's accurate for that time. I still can't spell. That's why there's Word. or spell check and everything.
Red lines of shame.
Red lines of shame. Right click, fixed. That's what I say.
But that is our silly game, and James is our big winner. Hooray!
Woo! I won my own thing. All right. Well, I hope you all had fun watching. And stay tuned. We're going to be having another episode next week, but we're also I'll do a little thing, or we'll do a little thing on Butler Library Game Day, which we help host. That's going to be this Saturday, which will already be over by the time you see this recording. But that's a cool local game day where we all hang out once a quarter and play RPGs, board games, and miniature games. So if you're in and around Butler, I highly recommend checking that out, and check it out on the Butler Library's website. But thank you for watching.